Firstly, the feasibility study, which was drawn up by independent experts, which told us that the only population of the islands that would be possible is short-term on a subsistence basis. Longer term would be precarious given the climatic conditions, given that in some cases some of the islands are barely 2 foot above sea level, and would be very costly.
It is true that the Foreign Office has conducted, I think now, 3 feasibility studies, as they call them, about resettlement. Their contents have nothing whatever to do with the resettlement of the islanders, who had lived there for 200 years. Page after page after page is devoted to establishing that the beaches are made of sand. Take your shoes and socks off and walk across them. You know what sand is, I know what sand is.
They then go on to say human interaction on global warming will make occupation of the islands precarious for a resettled population. But that's a very strange statement, because there is a settled population. There's hundreds of American military and thousands of civilian workers. They're all on Diego Garcia. They're not going to sink under the waves.
Far from sinking, they're sailing on it, swimming in it, playing in it, and having a barbie next to it. And what do they call this unlivable place? Fantasy Island.
Nobody takes those conclusions seriously, and insofar as the government repeats them, I'm afraid they're just opening themselves up to ridicule.
At the moment, on Diego Garcia, there are 4,000 US servicemen and contractors. There are 2 bomber runways, each 2.5 miles long. There are anchorages for 30 ships and 2 nuclear-cleared berths. There are space tracking domes and weapons ranges. It's the biggest American base outside the United States, which the US Navy describes as indispensable. The living conditions as outstanding, the recreational facilities as unbelievable, and the US wants to extend the lease past 2016. And you're asking us to believe these islands are uninhabited or they're sinking?
No. Of course they're inhabitable, but at a cost. The United States does have concerns about the climatic conditions longer term in respect of Diego Garcia, and has exactly the same concerns that were formulated in our independent study. But what the independent study told me, there was no fresh drinking water. There was, real concerns in the outer islands about the sea levels and the danger of flooding, and there would be a need for substantial expenditure on actually building a livable infrastructure.
One of the chief things was, what is the water supply going to be like? Oh my God, we can't guarantee it. These islands, and I published this in 1971,